Welcome to Omnis Eat Vegan Kitchen. Today we're going to be making almond and cashew milk. My name is John. We got our ingredients from Wegmans grocery store. We'll be using Wegmans organic whole cashews, Wegmans whole organic almonds, Wegmans fresh and pure maple syrup, a little bit of McCormick vanilla, and filtered water. We got our recipes from healthyblenderrecipes.com. First, we're going to get our nuts that have been soaking for about a day, and we're going to rinse them. And you can tell that they've sort of gotten soft. Then we're going to get, that's about a half a cup of nuts. Now we're going to get a cup and a half of filtered water. We're going to use one teaspoon of vanilla. That would have been a lot of vanilla. We're going to use 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Oops, yep, there we go. A little extra, because I like my stuff a little extra vanilla-y. We're going to get 2 to 3 tablespoons of maple syrup. This is going to be interesting, because I obviously can't pour the vanilla, so a little extra maple syrup is not going to hurt at this point. There we go. That was 1. This will be 2, and then we're going to do the next one to taste. We might only need a half. Okay. And we're shooting for a very creamy texture. Hopefully, because they've soaked, the cashews will be nice and smooth, and we won't have to strain it. Now, what I normally like to do when I make any recipe is I actually like to taste things. It's really, I don't know. It's one of those things where my mom was that type of cook. That's actually pretty good. I don't really think that it needs any more maple syrup. Depending upon who you are and what your taste for, I don't know, maple goodness might be, or vanilla. As you saw, I probably went well over the 1 to 2 teaspoons of vanilla. So it really depends on what your taste is, on how you're going to modify this recipe. It's really a guideline, not necessarily something that's a hard and fast rule. What we'll do is we're going to put this aside, because obviously you're not going to sit down and drink all your milk at once. I like to store my things in mason jars. This is Healthy Blender's recipe for cashew milk. And now we're going to make almond milk. I've taken half a cup of almonds, and they've sat in the refrigerator soaking for a day. I'm going to take them out, and I'm going to rinse them off. And hopefully when you have these nuts sit for this long, they've softened up so that when you put them in your blender, they're going to end up nice and smooth. One of the other things that you need to make sure that you do is that you rinse them off. And that they all get in the blender. The other thing that you make sure that you need is obviously a cup and a half of filtered water. Yeah, cup and a half of filtered water. You're going to need 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Make sure that you do this over your blender. If you get a little extra, as long as you like vanilla, it's probably not a problem. The other thing that you need is 2 to 3 tablespoons of maple syrup. Again, I always like to pour mine over because if it gets a little extra sweet or extra vanilla-y, it's really only about a cup and a half that you're going to have to drink that's extra. That was 1. This is 2. Now I'm going to taste this after the recipe's blended to make sure that it's something that I would drink or that somebody in the house would drink. That's good. That's a little extra maple syrupy. You always want to make sure that your blender's completely sealed. What I've noticed in making almond milk versus cashew milk is that almonds are a lot tougher to blend. And again, here would be a good time, you know, after you've blended for at least 2 minutes, given the difference between almonds and cashews, this is when a good time to taste it. Huh. Unlike the cashew milk, I'd actually tell you that at this point I would add the 3rd tablespoon of maple syrup. I don't know if it's just that I've made 2 recipes, but it just the almonds seem like they need the extra sweetness. Probably could use a little bit more vanilla too. Only because I think it's probably, if I had to guess, it would probably be the skins. I wouldn't add a whole teaspoon of vanilla, maybe a half a teaspoon of vanilla. I think it may just come down to the skins being on the almonds that are sort of changing the flavor. And again, as soon as even if you add stuff and you think you're okay, that's much better. Wow, that's really good. Again, you want to have some place to store it once you're all said and done, and you always want to be careful with your blender. It's full of knives, you know. And that is Omnis Eating Vegan, both almond milk and cashew milk. Now we're going to move on to tasting. Hopefully Jessica will be able to join me and we'll be able to taste the 2 milks. I'd love to see you guess which one is almond and which one's cashew.
I'm gonna guess this is cashew and this is almond because of the coloring.
Yes, and you would probably be able to tell. You'll probably be able to tell because one is going to have. I think it's going to have a little bit more of a sweetness flavor to it than say the other.
I love the bottles you put them in.
Yes, because I'm a redneck.
I smell the maple syrup.
Well, you should be able to smell the maple syrup. It's Probably one more.
Dad, I smell almonds.
Yeah.
Try the cashew.
We really.
Do you want me to just shake it? Should I shake it before?
I did shake it a little bit. I don't think it's gonna hurt if you shake it a little extra, or you don't shake it at all. I think what's probably gonna settle to the bottom is the nuts that weren't ground.
Yeah, I think the recipe that we were looking at said that you could strain them if you want to.
Yeah, you probably could strain them if you wanted to. If you were really looking for a smooth, we're really looking at it as a health benefit thing. So I don't necessarily think that we would restrain.
You can get another cup for the almond.
Yeah,
That's good. Cashew milk's okay. I don't know.
I think the cashew milk's pretty good, actually. I don't. Having drank different cashew milks before, just for because I like various different kinds of nuts.
That one I would strain.
Why?
There's a lot of nut pulp in that.
Well, you know what? I noticed when I was blending it that it didn't get as smooth.
The other thing that we're doing in our kitchen is we just have a pulsing blender. We don't have like a super high power blender.
Yeah.
And that might be causing us to have more pulp than if we had a higher powered blender.
I don't know how you're going to get rid of that. I mean, nuts are fibrous. So I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's one of those things where if you strain it.
So which one do you like? I like the cashew better. And I think it's just because of the pulp and the almond.
I'll be honest with you, either one.
But I will say this. I drink almond milk on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Because I do have a lactose intolerance and I am normally drinking almond milk here at home.
Yeah.
But for the homemade stuff, I would say the cashew or the almond. I'd give this on a homemade perspective. I would say this is, I don't know, maybe a 6. And I would only give this maybe a 3.
I'd give them both the same. I don't really think one's better than the other, only because, probably also because I made them. But
yeah. No, I like almonds, but there's a bitterness to this. But
yes.
I don't normally eat raw almonds. I usually eat roasted almonds.
And that's one of the differences between you and I. I do eat a lot of raw nuts, and I actually like both of them, and that's why I would say they're
Did you say a number?
I would probably say that they're both the same. If I was going to give one a 6, I'd give both a 6. I'm not overly.
Would you do a higher number? I mean, I don't know.
I'd say 6 only because it's not processed.
John comes from dairy farmers. His grandparents owned a dairy farm until they died. So.
Yeah, and I'm in that regard. If I'm gonna drink something that's labeled milk, it's probably gonna end up being milk. This to me tastes like, I don't know.
I like this.
Almonds and cashews, but I'm okay with that. I like that. I like that flavor. It's good. I think both of them are good. I'll drink both of them.
Okay. See you next time. Bye.